After that, or explode after that. All right. Next though, and then speaking of the Israel thing, it kind of we have our next topic. Um, very well talks about kind of what's happening there, but ties it into what's here happening on our home front. And it's also very interesting because it provides a critical look at it's a critical look at some of the critical thinkers, man. I think it's important. All right, I'll say New Jackson came with one. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Candace
What's
Owens.
good, everybody?
Candace Owens
It's
receives
your
her
boy,
Negro wake up call. Let's react, baby.
Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. Since the death of Charlie Kirk, there is nobody who has cast in more on this than Candace Owens. Don't get me wrong, we're all making some money off of the news and things that are transpiring. There is nobody actively making cash off this like Candace Owens. Let's look at the last few episodes. To my friend Charlie Kirk, 6.3 million views. They are lying about Charlie Kirk, 8.2 million views. Charlie Kirk shooting suspecting charge, 5.3 million views. Who ordered the hit on Charlie Kirk, 3.9 million views. Okay, and now this title gives a lot of speculation that Charlie Kirk wasn't just killed by Tyler Robinson. Charlie Kirk was killed by somebody else. Tyler Robinson just carried out the hit. Now, in these thumbnails,
yeah, my bad. I'll tell you, it's not. Yeah, I'll try to say. Yeah, I'll say it's more of a concern. However, I am also scared though. At the same time, I'm scared the motherfucker that shit blows up.
0.9 million views. Okay, and now this title gives a lot of speculation that Charlie Kirk wasn't just killed by Tyler Robinson. Charlie Kirk was killed by somebody else. Tyler Robinson just carried out the hit. Now, in these thumbnails, you see usually pictures of Netanyahu from Israel. And of course, it has been revealed that Charlie Kirk has some issues with Israel. And Candace Owens has been implying that basically Israel is responsible for his death. Now, it's important to know that Owens and Kirk were once collaborators at Turning Point USA until she resigned in 2019 amid controversy over her remarks defending Adolf Hitler. And their relationship had deteriorated due to her increasingly anti-Semitic views and criticism of Israel, which Kirk supported. So what this would have meant then is Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens were nearly not as close as she would like it to be or make it out to be. She's making it out to be like, oh, they're best of friends. He's the best thing that ever happened to her. But obviously, with her criticism of Israel, there was really no way that Charlie Kirk could be even seen hanging out with Owens that much since 2019. He was already in some trouble just hanging out with Tucker Carlson. And so Candace Owens would have been the straw that broke the camel's back. Now, again, it's not only that she's been making these videos or live streams about Charlie Kirk. She's also been making tweets that Netanyahu and Israel killed Charlie Kirk. Okay, at least it's implied. I can't say she's trying to say that, but
pause. Ron says hope is imagination, belief, and focus on a preferred good. Having hope. Yeah, that's profound. That's profound, fam. Let me see what she's cooking with. Man.
Okay, at least it's implied. I can't say she's trying to say that, but if you read these tweets, it can be implied. Let's look at them. Tucker Carlson just exposed everything Charlie was going through with his Jewish donors and what his true feelings were towards Bibi Netanyahu. Watch to comprehend how sinister the lies are the Zionist crowd is trying to tell right now. Messages exist, stop lying. Now, look at this one. Sorry, guys, you murdered my friend. You unlocked the Niggo Montoya in me. We're not stopping until we get to the bottom of this thing. What? Sorry, guys, you murdered my friend. Who are those guys? Because there's only one guy that murdered Tyler Kirk. That's the guy by the name of Tyler Robinson. So what does she mean by you murdered my friend? Okay, let's continue looking at some of the other tweets. All Bibi Netanyahu had to do was not lie on Charlie's name in the aftermath and we wouldn't be here. But he has never been able to meet the challenge. So we see the Jews on the first tweet, no mention of the Jews in the second tweet. In the third tweet, we see Netanyahu's name. And then on the fourth tweet, Awesome Jew was also at the Hampton Summit. Of course, LOL. I'm just sitting here looking at this list, LOLing at them attempting to spin this as a totally casual fling that was not about Israel. So three.
All right, pause. Yeah, see, that's the reason why I'm extremely, like, kind of shocked about this, about the take was I just heard it last night. One of my friends was like, "Yo, bro, supposedly, Israel was behind. Supposedly, you know what I'm saying? Israel had something to do with that man online. Like, that shouldn't even make sense." Then, boom, I get this one that came up, right? And so here we are, and we see Candace Owens like supposedly, coming with it. Supposedly she's coming on with it, man. Out with the tweets, but yet we don't see a whole lot of the proof though. That's my thing. Like if you're gonna have those accusations, of course you got the show there. We really want to see the meat though, baby. Like we want to see the meat and potatoes.
Of the four
But let me
posts
see.
that were written in this as a totally casual fling that was not about Israel. So 3 of the 4 posts that were written all within an hour talk about Israel, except for the "you murdered my friend." Now, Candace Owens is playing mind games here, guys. She's trying to say that you murdered my friend, but really we know who murdered the friend. And so people start calling her out on it. And then look at
Okay,
this
this
tweet she
part.
posts here. It's crazy how I never once said that Israel
Oh.
murdered Charlie Kirk, but the Zionists are repeating that without a shred of evidence. Remember,
Oh.
if they aren't lying, they aren't breathing. Candace, what are you smoking on? Like, what are you talking about? You're literally implying that these guys killed Charlie Kirk, and now you're acting like somebody else is stupid, and now Israel is lying. Like, these are the kind of mind games that get people in a lot of trouble. And this,
I mean, it gets people in a lot of trouble, but it also gets people a lot of engagement. That's at 436. Look at how much she got on this tweet. 4.1 million engage reach people seen that shit. You get 70K likes, all of them. I think it's like straight up rage bait. Low-key, it look like rage bait to me.
this is why she's over there getting sued by Macron's wife right now, implying that Macron's wife is actually a man. But more with that, all right? Now, obviously, people like Nick Fuentez is getting upset because, Candace Owens
this
is
part's
always
interesting.
saying like, oh, check out my next video for more information on YouTube. And she's getting hella views. She's probably making like $40,000 every video. Nick Fuentez is saying, is Candace Owens going to put all of her receipts about Israel's involvement in Charlie Kirk's death behind a paywall too? Show us the letter Kirk sent to Netanyahu and show us the receipts about his financial offer immediately. This is actually true. Like, she's not doing that at all, and nobody knows why she isn't doing it, but she just keeps on playing the games, getting people to come over to her YouTube channel to check out everything. And now people are making jokes. Look at this one. Subscribe to my show to see the text.
Oh, damn.
Basically, like, making fun of Charlie Kirk's death, right? And
They're
then you
wrong
see
for that shit,
other people,
bro.
and then you see like a lot of people are feeling like
This is
And then
despicable practices.
there's this whole idea about Candace Owens not being allowed to speak at Charlie Kirk's memorial, which will be Sunday, September 21st, 2025, at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. It's not a funeral, but it is basically a memorial. It'd be like 60,000 people there. But the question is, if Candace Owens is so like close to Charlie Kirk, why isn't she speaking?
Hearing about the pressure that's even happening with planning this event. And nope, you're right. You got me. I was not invited to speak alongside President Trump and JD Vance on the stage with Tucker Carlson at a memorial event. There's this memorial thing in Arizona, which is not a funeral. It's a memorial event. Okay, that is, by the way, in large part, from what I understand, being controlled by the White House. Trump is controlled by Zionists. So they're like baiting me here. Why would I be invited by anyone in Trump's Zionist administration as I am speaking about topics that I am speaking? It's common sense. They're not going to allow me to share the stage.
So she's calling Trump a Zionist, or he's supported by the Zionists, but it's incredible that Tucker Carlson is able to speak there. She mentioned his name. She recently just did a podcast with Tucker Carlson. So Tucker Carlson has been critical of Israel, especially when it comes to spending money on, the war or funding Israel. He's basically said many times that, hey, we need to put our money towards our problems and not Israel problems. And yeah, a lot of people in Israel don't like Tucker Carlson, but he's allowed to still speak. But Candace Owens has fallen out with the Jewish community a lot. And now a lot of these guys here are starting to come after Candace Owens due to her behavior.
I cannot wait. You do not understand. I cannot wait. When we get the Brigitte Macron, Vagine, when we get Brigitte Macron, Bobs and Vagine, those will be the most expensive ever purchased in history. And I cannot wait. Was it worth it? Candace Owens is going back to the ghetto. She's going back to hanging out outside the corner store, outside the Kono store. In a I don't know what accent that is. She's hanging out at the corner store with Unc on the lawn chair.
Now, this is a reference to what's going on with Brigitte Macron, okay? So now, at the same time, while she's spreading these implied lies about Israel with no proof, she's also being sued by Brigitte Macron, you know, saying that she's a man. And then Macron his wife is willing to like show pictures of her, you know what, to prove that she's a woman and is a born woman. All right. But then there's more.
What you mean you don't take food stamps no more? I'm trying to buy food for my kids. I'm trying to buy food for my kids. What you mean you don't take EBT no more? What you mean you don't take food stamps no more? What you mean I can't get no food stamp?
Hey, yo.
As you can see, he's making fun of her, saying that she's gonna go back to the ghetto.
Bro, that's
be with Uncle on the porch. So now they're looking at Candace Owens, not even as a black conservative anymore, at least he isn't, but somebody who is basically adding no value to the conservative movement altogether. Then he says this.
All she did for the past week was gaslight the public. And by definition, that's what it is. Gaslight her audience, gaslight the public. Netanyahu lied. They shot him in the throat because they're taking his voice. I have all these receipts, but I'm not going to publish them. And then literally a week later, she's going to put on Twitter, oh, I never said they were behind it. I never said that at all. I just strongly implied it. We all know what you said. We all know what you meant. You dummy. You irresponsible, grifting dummy. I've so had it with that. And at the end of the day, she's just and defines low IQ anti-Semitism. I used to think it didn't exist. I used to think that low IQ anti-Semitism is just something that people would say to counter the rising tide of people acknowledging power. Now I'm convinced it's real. And it has a name. That name is Candace Owens Farmer. Low IQ anti-Semitism. The idea that Charlie Kirk was silenced for being about to go against Israel, it's just on its face absurd and ridiculous.
Now, Nick Fuentez.
I like that term though, the low IQ Semitism. That's interesting. So I guess we could like apply that to like all the other types of hate as well, right? I mean, it's just not really based out of fact at all or much logic, just hating a person.
Israel,
that's low
it's
IQ
just
racism.
On its face absurd and ridiculous.
Now, Nick Fuentez is no friend to the Jews at all. He considers what she's doing as low IQ anti-Semitism. I mean, if there's anybody who would love to blame the Jews for anything, it would be Nick Fuentez. But he just doesn't believe that because there's no proof. He's just using his logic and understanding that. And he continues with his position.
The idea that Israel's #1 cheerleader on the right wing was somehow killed by Israel, sorry, not buying it. And the people promulgating that idea, they're not even saying that.
So now he's saying, listen, look, nobody believes it at all. It's down bad. You're disgusting. Okay. Now, listen, how is it that Israel's #1 cheerleader was deleted by them? That's insane. Even if they were having problems, it would seem like they would have some level of opportunity to get him back on the right track. I mean, Netanyahu did invite him to Israel. But what is implied is that Candace Owens has a vendetta against Israel. And again, she's trying to spin Israel as the people that have a hit on him, and it's not true, and they're calling it out. And again, it's like she's just doing anything for views. And I mean, just because she dislikes Israel, that's one thing. But again, if you really like this man, this is your homeboy, this is your friend, why are you not focusing on the person that, you know, killed him? And again, this is all about money. Like, Candace Owens knows who kills the guy. And again, she's not a FBI agent. You know, you don't go to school for this. You're a content creator just like I am. none of us are FBI, none of us are CIA. And then she's talking
Yeah,
about
some
the
of them are.
FBI, they're shady and all that. Okay, then like everything is a conspiracy theory, and it just becomes a point to where at a certain time it's just annoying, you know? It's like, just shut up, man. Like, at what point do you think you're gonna get that wake up call that you're just really, really looking for right now? Like, you're really asking for that wake up call.
The
And then
Negro
so once
wake-up
they give
call.
it to you, you can't come back to the black community. You'll be done. And she's just overstepping her boundaries like a lot. And you're already in the geopolitical space, a space where they don't need you to play in. Like, you're out of your comfort zone. Like, you're out of your expertise. Your expertise is hating on black people. But again, you can only do that for so long. Look at Fresh and Fit. You can only hate on blacks for so long until you got to get a new strategy, and now it's hating on Israel. The problem with hating on Israel is that they got money and they can find a way to get revenge. All right? Now, she's doing pretty good right now because
Damn. Marty said on a side note, she look alright. It's a married woman we're talking about. Yeah, you know, valid point, valid
the
point.
whites are supporting you. But hey, it's going to come to a time where you start coming after them too, and then it's game over. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again. Another episode of The Celebrity Drunk. I appreciate you for all you just heard about.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, I'm crazy. Yo. Hey, man. Mike, I actually looked that one up today, like inspired by what you were talking about yesterday. Remember how you were saying, how people were saying something about how they're believing that Israel was behind the attack and everything like that. So I saw some information. One source, anyway, that was talking about Candace Owens, but it seemed like they were like discrediting her. They didn't say that she pulled out the facts. They said, what's the name? Nick Fuentez was calling her out on that shit. But nonetheless, we're gonna be on the lookout though for more facts. And you know what? There is another one. I just don't know if I ain't really got time to hop all the way into it tonight. But they have released like some details supposedly saying that they know the motives of the killer.